Did you know you can use private equity to make an impact? Today we meet BlueOrchard's Felix Hermes and Ernesto Costa to find out how. Hi Felix, hi Ernesto, it's good to see you. So today, before we jump into the topic, how about you tell us where we are and why?
We are at the Impact Hub in Zurich, in the center of Zurich, right under the train tracks.
Okay, so if we hear any rolling thunder suddenly, we'll know it's the trains.
Exactly. And the Impact Hub is about creating an ecosystem and environment for entrepreneurs and startups to tackle the world's problems.
And actually networking and connecting with entrepreneurs and business people in emerging markets, that's what we do, and that's what we're here.
Okay, so now that you've brought up today's topic, which is private equity, Felix, for those people in the room who may not know, can you explain to us then what role can and does private equity play in impact investing?
Yes, private equity is taking an essential role in impact investing. It's providing important capital to fund growth, but also to drive impact. And as private equity investors, we don't sit idle. We actively engage with the companies that we invest in. We provide guidance and work closely with the firms together with the capital that we provide. And
actually, Felix, over the last few years, we've seen a lot of the bigger players also get in on the game, so to speak. And how does BlueOrchard's investment strategy differ then from the ones of the traditional equity firms that are now just kind of getting into the market?
So BlueOrchard has really been a pioneer of impact investing, emerging in frontier markets for 20 years. So it's really ingrained in our organization and in our investment strategies, of course. So our investment strategies typically focus on providing essential services to unserved and underserved individuals and businesses in emerging markets, or to address environmental challenges.
And in fact, emerging markets has a great opportunity. These are high growth markets, and with fewer competition for capital.
So how is it, Ernesto, that you go about finding and selecting the companies you invest in?
Well, BlueOrchard has been operating in emerging markets for over 20 years and in over 90 countries. So we have local offices with local people, local network. That's how we source most of our transactions. We obviously also do what the rest of the private equity investors do, attending conferences and having some connections with intermediaries. But I think the network that we have and the local presence is what makes a big difference.
And actually one of these companies where you are a board member is Agritask, based in Tel Aviv, and they're contributing to reducing the vulnerability of farmers and micro and small enterprises to extreme weather conditions. And actually, we spoke to their CEO, Ofir Ardon, just recently. Let's take a listen. Ofir, welcome. Thank you for joining us from Tel Aviv.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
So your company, Agritask, uses technology to help food producers and farmers better manage their operations. Also helps insurers assess price risks in the agriculture sector. But if we look specifically at farmers in emerging and frontier markets, how is your company supporting them?
To understand that, you first have to see what is the problem of a small-scale farmer. It's lack of resources, which is capital, skills, agronomic know-how. And second, it's a detachment from the ecosystem, which is also dependent on them. So it's the buyers, it's the input providers, and also whoever can finance them or take away the risk, and the risk is huge. The way we support the farmers is using the technology via the ecosystem, predominantly serving food and beverage companies who can actually work with thousands or hundreds of thousands of small-scale farmers, and their business is also dependent on these farmers, so it's kind of a win-win. And second, serving the insurance sector, where we know there's a huge gap between the need for insurance and the actual availability of it.
And over the last years, Agritask has grown tremendously. I mean, you have now 80 clients across 35 countries. What is it that makes you different?
As opposed to point agtech products, Agritask provides a comprehensive enterprise-level solution addressing various challenges within the agro-food ecosystem. Our platform is highly configurable, given the variability of needs between the industry, between the different clients and users. It is also much more open relative to other solutions. We're integrating today with over 70 enterprise and other agtech solutions thus far. Our solution also monitors over 2 million hectares in over 35 countries. This results in a massive volume of agronomic data, which we can then leverage to support better agronomic practices, better yield prediction, but also better risk management.
And how is BlueOrchard supporting your growth?
BlueOrchard has been a great partner supporting us. I can look at it in three levels. First of all, it's the business development and strategy initiatives, especially if you look at the insurance sector and smallholder space, directly impacting our business results, the way taking us to the clients themselves, helping us building our strategy, and of course, helping us in executing it. The second part is assisting us in putting in place the necessary governance processes, which is helping us in supporting our long-term growth. And last, very close support in our fundraising efforts, which are actually key to our continuous growth.
And to wrap it up, what is your vision for the company in the next years in terms of size and scope?
Well, this should be easy. First of all, scale up. We need to scale up our growth, enhance the volume we provide our clients by bringing the best skills and harnessing the data that we collect today. We intend to become the platform of choice for key players in the agri-food ecosystem. By that, to enable sustainable practices and directly improving the livelihood of millions of small farm holders worldwide.
Ofir, thank you so much for your time and your insights.
Thank you.
So we just learned from Ofir that you work quite closely with your partner companies in order to create impact as well as value. But Ernesto, tell us more about what is BlueOrchard's impact management and value creation approach?
Well, impact and value creation are at the core of our investment process. We have developed internally some proprietary tools. So we have Impact to measure and monitor the impact. We have created also a value creation tool which covers things like operational performance, financial performance, ESG, and that's what we use with our portfolio companies. And the process, we start from the very beginning, even before we make the investment. We assess very carefully the potential for impact. We understand how we are going to create value with the company. And it's only when we are clear on those two things that we move ahead with the investment. We then monitor, we agree with the management and the shareholders of the company beforehand on some performance indicators. We monitor them during the investment, and at exit, we produce an impact report explaining all the impact that's been produced with the investment.
And of course, we report to our investors in detail about the impact that we achieve and the value that we create throughout the holding period of investments, but also in-depth impact reports that we issue on a regular basis.
And since this is something that, of course, investors will be looking at probably quite closely, can you achieve market rate returns with private equity impact investments?
Well, let me ask you back, why shouldn't we? I mean, we are professional private equity investors. We do the same research, analysis, due diligence, monitoring of the companies in which we invest. So there is no reason why we shouldn't achieve similar returns.
And we're looking at some of the fastest growing markets in the world. And if you manage to provide services to the excluded, there's just tremendous opportunity. Plus, this opportunity is less crowded because it requires specific expertise.
And in fact, we believe that impact creates value for the companies and the shareholders because, two similar companies with similar performance, one is doing impact, the other is not. I think the one doing impact will attract a higher valuation in the long term.
All right, before we go, in your roles, I know that you've been traveling a lot, especially pre-COVID, to these emerging and frontier markets. Tell me, is there a most memorable experience that comes to mind?
I think it's difficult to pick any specific experience. I think it's easy to just see the challenges, environmental and social challenges when you travel to those countries. But in my mind, what really strikes me is the energy and drive of the people to make changes and move forward. So there's a lot of challenge, but there's also a lot of promise.
To me, what I found memorable is how hard these people work to progress and how genuinely interested they are in impact. They understand that impact will improve their livelihood, that of their communities and their children.
All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for that and for the rest of your insights.
Thank you.
And to all of you, as always, thank you so much for joining us. Do stay tuned to this space for more on impact investing.